Okay, I'm going to be honest here. I'm not entirely sure how to start off this video. I'm pretty sure this would be considered kind of part of the lighting kit category. So I guess welcome to another Demarcation Media lighting kit review. But like, it's also not just a lighting kit. And there's a bit of a story behind this. So this package is from a company called Funwhole. First of all, guys, that's a terrible name. You need to change it, please. Find something to change it to, but that just sounds terrible. Not trying to be mean right off the bat, but that's terrible. Anyway, they sent me an email a while back saying, basically, we're looking for people to review sets. At first, I thought it was some sort of a scam because I've gotten like weird scam kind of emails before where they're like, test out our product or whatever, and it's just like random stuff like some sort of cord to connect a gaming PC to something else. I don't know. It was weird. So I replied and I was like, sure, you're asking me to review your product, right? And they were like, yes, that's what we're looking for you to do. I was like, okay, keep in mind that I'm going to be reviewing it. I'm not just going to be straight up promoting you. Like, it's going to be a review. If it's a bad product, I'm going to say it's a bad product. So they were like, yep. And they sent me this package. And so we're going to look at what is inside. Now, this is something I probably would have disregarded if I saw it on like Amazon or whatever as like boot Lego. They don't really do figures as far as I know. And they've done lighting kits for official Lego sets before. And now they're expanding into making their own sets. So I'm kind of interested actually to see if this is worth purchasing, because they have a couple sets that are available on Amazon and a couple sets that are available on their actual website along with their other lighting kits. But this is not just a lighting kit. This is one of their own fully customized sets. Wow, okay, hold on. This packaging is kind of nice though. Oh, I'm hitting my lights. Okay. Very interesting. We have some sort of a hinge thing, looks like. The logo looks kind of nice, I will say that. I don't entirely know why it's FO, since it's Funwhole, it would be FW. But this box is a lot more like put together than I was expecting. This feels almost like some sort of a collector's item. We got some warnings on the back, and then some pictures of the set. The set is wired with lights, so we're going to have to put lights and stuff in it. But let's go ahead and get this thing open. I think, if I can manage not to kill my camera, open it here. Oh, here's a little what's included. User manual, building bricks, LED light kit, brick separator, service card. Shows the lights off and on. Okay, yeah, it's got the very premium feeling box. Okay, so far, presentation A+. I'm liking this presentation. Instructions feel nice. Okay, I see kind of where they're coming from about the name, but still, I don't know. It sounds weird just to say it. Inspiration. Interesting. This feels like a Lego Ideas set or something. There's like a whole story here. What? Wow. Okay, there's a lot here. Okay, it shows you how to like use the lights. Brick separator. Bag one. Okay, so it starts off by telling you that's what you're going to build. That's slightly confusing right off the bat, but there's the instructions. It looks pretty much like Lego's instructions, which is good. Sometimes these other companies don't have great instructions. Oh, there's all the wires. So this is going to be an interesting build. It's not going to be the easiest. Okay, very interesting. Instructions look good. We end on just like a black page. And yeah. Okay. So now inside here, we've got the brick separator, which is packaged up super nicely. Again, A+ for the packaging so far. This is an experience. So here we go. There's their website, funwhole.com. And then I will have a link to their website and to their Amazon page in the description on the very top. This is all the lighting stuff, it looks like. So far, the only other lighting kit I reviewed is the brick stuff lighting kit, and that was really cool. I currently have that all hooked up to my modular building setup, so I'm interested to see how this turns out. Because all of these lights are made specifically for this set. They're labeled. Wow, there's a lot here. And again, fantastic packaging. Numbered bags, so you don't have to worry about that. And I will be paying attention to see how the brick quality stacks up to Lego and Mega. Okay. Wow, that was an experience, that unboxing. I was not expecting it to be that involved. So I'm going to go ahead and build this, and then we're going to take a closer look. And for me, this is probably going to be a couple-hour process, I'm imagining. For you guys, of course, it's going to be like... Alrighty, the whole thing is all put together, and I have two big impressions right off the bat, right after building it. First of all, this thing is pretty darn impressive. It was a lot more impressive than I was first expecting. And also, this is not a build for the faint of heart. It's not super difficult until you get to putting the wires into everything, and that is a little bit fiddly. For those of you who have worked with lighting kits before, you'll know, the general gist of it. You have to thread the wires through bricks and all that. But for somebody that's just starting out, I feel like they would struggle a little bit. And you really have to pay attention when you're putting this together, or else you'll miss some step. I did that a couple times just because there's a lot of stuff that goes into building the waves, a lot of bricks that look very similar, so it's easy to miss something. But yeah, end result, pretty impressive. But before we go into looking at this, there's kind of a handful of side stuff that I want to take a look at first. So to start off, you get a brick separator that is officially a Funwhole brand brick separator. And as such, it's a little bit different than what we see like from Mega. There's less tools on here just because there's less that you're going to need to do with it. You just have the prying section here, and then the Technic section. And then here it is next to a Lego one. It's a lot more similar to a Lego brick separator, except the design is very different. It kind of makes me think of a snail. Like a little snail, that's a shell. Maybe that's just me. And then you also get a pair of tweezers, which I was not expecting. I actually didn't realize that the tweezers were in there until I was done, which this would have been very helpful for the wires more than once. But it was packaged in with the bags that have like the lighting kit stuff. So I thought it was going to be lighting kit stuff. Anyway, that was my own not paying attention. But yeah, they do include a pair of metal tweezers, which I was not expecting at all. And then we also have a bunch of extra parts, which some of them made me think that I had built something wrong. Well, some of them aren't exactly extras. So these tubes here are for the front and back rails of the boat if you decide that you don't want them to be the light up ones. So you can swap those out. You also have these, which I believe might be for if you want to build the boat without the light bricks in the front at all. I'm pretty sure that's what these are for. And then the rest of this, like, there was never any place to use this. We get an extra lighting band. There's, like, adhesive on the bottom of these, and you'd stick it on like that. That's how most of them go on there. And then we have two extra small 5cm cords, which is nice because you could accidentally break these if you're not careful. Then we just have a whole bunch of extra other stuff. There's a bunch of nice drum lacquered gold. We'll see more of that later. Yeah, a bunch of extra pieces. Some pretty interesting ones as well. And no, I'm pretty sure I put everything on correctly. There's just a whole lot of extras. Now on to the set itself. So the feel of this set, the whole kind of vibe I'm getting from this set is that of a LEGO Ideas set. The presentation, the finished product, and the build process all felt very, very similar to a LEGO Ideas project. Which is a good thing, because usually the LEGO Ideas projects are the more different things that LEGO wouldn't usually make. And so this kind of has that feel. there's kind of a lot going on here, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and take the boat off first, okay? We'll look at the ocean here, and we'll take a closer look at the boat. But let me get my camera off the stand so we can kind of move around a bit. So there's a lot of really nice texturing, a lot of these curved bricks, and surprisingly, the process to build all of that was not that repetitive. Like, they staggered it around in such a way that it didn't feel super repetitive. It was just a lot of the same bricks. And then we have some waves here. I'm not entirely sure why there's two waves going towards each other. There is like the boat sitting here, so maybe this wave is coming from the boat going forward, and this wave is just a natural one. But down in that wave, we have this little clamshell with a crystal, and then there's some like ruins of maybe, I don't know, an old city. Maybe there's bits of Atlantis sticking up. I don't know. But you can see that there's like some greens, there's crystals there. One thing I would have liked is to see the gray like mess up here, like all the broken up stuff, extend down beneath the water, because we do have a whole underwater like diorama down here. So I would have liked to see this like continue down there. That would have been ideal. We got some other stuff here: bubbles, starfish, seaweed, and like I said, there's a whole bunch of stuff down in there. There's fish and seaweed, and there's like a crab there. That fish, I believe, is the mold that Lego used for the fish from The Little Mermaid. There's a more standard fish down there. All that. But we'll see that better in just a minute. Up here, we have the tentacles of a Kraken sticking up. Big, spindly things, which they're cleverly positioned, right here where you can't actually see underwater, so we don't actually have to see the Kraken at all. And these have an interesting feature. There's a little turning knob over here, and if you spin that, they kind of wiggle around a bit. The effect is not as dramatic as I was hoping it would be, because these things can pop up and down a lot. But there's a whole mechanism built out of Technic bricks that kind of pop them up and down in time with the spinning. Now, maybe you could position these a little bit differently and get more movement out of them that way. I don't really know. But yeah, it's a nice feature anyway, because you do get a little bit of life into those tentacles by spinning it. We have a lighthouse over here, which is kind of micro scale. I guess it's sort of supposed to be forced perspective. Maybe not. I'm not sure. And then we have what's either supposed to be the sun or the moon. I kind of think it's the moon, just based on the general color scheme of all of this. It feels more like a night scene. And then around the back, it's just as good. Like, basically, you can display this from pretty much any angle. The only real ugly angle is where you attach the like splitter for the lights. So very, very interesting. The build process only got frustrating when I was trying to put the top panels onto all of these side pieces, which these side pieces were all packaged individually. I'm not really sure that's the best use of plastic, but I don't know. Maybe they were trying to keep it from getting scratched. But yeah, trying to get the panels to all line up, all these lower panels to line up with the plate on top, was a little frustrating, but other than that, the build went pretty smoothly. Even looks good from directly above. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the boat. So there are no figures in this set. Funwhole doesn't seem to really be doing figures right now. I honestly don't know if it would be a good idea for them to do figures at this time. The brick quality feels a little less than Lego and Mega. It's a closer to older Mega. So things are a little stiff to put together sometimes, and the plastic looks a little cheaper. So I feel like it might be a bit before they're ready to do any sort of figures, and even then, I don't know. I feel like they would have to innovate in some way instead of just doing minifigures or like micro action figures like Mega. But for now, we don't have any figures, so we just have this boat, and it's kind of micro scale, but kind of not, because we have some handles here to like position the light, and then we have like a captain's wheel up here as well. So I don't really know what scale this is supposed to be, and I don't really think it matters in this situation. And this is a really whimsical looking boat. It's almost steampunk in its design, because we have these like two paddle wheel looking things down here that seem to power the boat. And then there's a lot of gold and like gray, and the gray is different from side to side. So, good grief, stand up. So we have like more dark gray on this side, more light gray on this side, and it was actually really helpful because you were able to figure out where you were supposed to put things over the wires that way. The one problem I had with the boat is that underneath in here, the instructions tell you to put the brick that kind of is the hub for the wires in the center of the plate. And if you do that and position it so that the wires come out the right sides, it was too short to actually attach into these lamps on the back. So I had to move it one stud back and it worked. It's just the instructions tell you to do it in such a way that it doesn't quite work out. We have this really interesting golden parrot, which I'm assuming is kind of like a figurehead for this ship, or maybe he is the captain. I don't know. Pretty sure he's not because the little story in the instructions. But it's a really interesting piece. It is not Lego's parrot mold. I'm not entirely sure where that parrot is. Maybe it's an original mold by Funwhole. But it's pretty cool looking. The drum lacquered gold is pretty nice. And then we have this little dagger here. I'm not sure if that's supposed to just be more detail or if it's actually supposed to be a stored weapon. I don't know. Got some flags back here. It can move up and down. And then here are the railings I was telling you about. So you can see they're clear right now, pegged into here and here. And we'll see why in a moment. But yeah, these things are like fiber optic cables. They don't stick the greatest into the bricks. Like the friction is fairly low. But because it's bent in a U, it stays in place. So yeah, really interesting boat. There's definitely, without even reading anything in the instructions, you can definitely tell there's a story here because this is not your ordinary boat. But here's where the magic really happens. So first of all, you're going to take the boat, and there are these little metal kind of plug things. And then on here, you can see those two kind of gold circles. We are going to make sure that those line up. So the boat just kind of balances on there. And then I'm going to turn off the lights. Okay, so it's all nice and dark. We have our controller here. It's not all fancy like the brick stuff one. There's only just on and off, and it attaches in via USB. Inside, you need to put 3 AA batteries, which are not included. But here we go. Look at that. I was absolutely shocked when I saw how incredibly bright this thing got. You know, I was expecting bright, but not this bright. You could literally use this as a nightlight. So it might even be too bright. I'm going to have to change. Well, there we go. So now you can see the underwater stuff a little better. There's a lot going on down there. I really like how you get the effect of looking beneath the waves, and it's just, there's a lot going on. Again, I do wish that the pillars here would have extended below the surface. That would have been great. But then up here, we have the crystals on the rock are glowing. So clearly this boat is headed towards some ancient civilization that's now in ruins. And then we have a spotlight on the front of the boat. There's the railing. It is glowing. I don't know why the railing would be glowing, but it looks pretty awesome. And then, oh, whoops, did I disconnect the lighthouse? I might have disconnected the lighthouse. Hang on a second. There we go. The lighthouse itself is a little fiddly because you can see the lights are actually going around. So it's kind of an animated light. And sometimes it seems to get a little confused. So I had to turn it on and off a couple times, and then it turned back on. And then it was getting confused when I connected the boat to the circuit, the lights would stop moving. So I just kind of had to turn it on and off and put the boat on and off for a couple times, and then it turned on again. And you can see it is flashing like an actual lighthouse, which is pretty cool. And then this is like the moon or the sun. I think it's supposed to be the moon. And you can kind of swivel that back and forth a bit, which is pretty cool. Around the back here, you can see, again, the glowing railing and then some little lamps. More ocean stuff. And then around this side, there's more of that really cool underwater stuff. It almost looks like a little aquarium. So yeah, I am pretty impressed by this. Obviously, this is not a play set. This is definitely a set for display. But but it's not just a display set necessarily. So here's my thought process. This is a great build, and if you wanted to just, keep it as is, you definitely could. But also, there's a lot of lights here, and as you can see, they're very bright, and there's a lot of pieces here. So if you wanted to, you could definitely use these parts for mocks, and you would have a ton of customizing options with all of these lights. So there's a lot you can do with this. You can keep it on your shelf and display it like this, which is great. You can take it apart, wire these lights into other things. So like, you could definitely wire this into like the Pelican or whatever, or you could build your own like base and then wire up those lights. It's got a lot of potential, And yes, in case you are wondering, it does show up pretty nicely when you have the lights on as well. Well, there you have it. That is the Funwhole Ocean Adventure Ship. I gotta say, I am a lot more impressed with this than I was expecting to be. So just to get my cons for this set out of the way, the biggest one is the Lighthouse is really fiddly. I don't know if it's just the wiring for that animation light or what, but it tends to just want to not keep going around in its little circle, and I have to like turn it off and on and reattach the ship and do the whole thing. So that's the biggest con. And then I would say the brick quality isn't all the way there yet. They're not bad. Like, they don't feel like boot Legos exactly. They just feel like Mega Constructs when Mega Constructs was still trying to get their groove. And so I feel like there's the potential here. I just think that they're going to have to improve their brick quality a little bit, because there are some places where like the bricks are really hard to put together and you'll see like slight separation and whatnot. But it's definitely not bad. Presentation wise, I was blown away. Like, this is not what I was expecting, and again, it's very Lego Ideas-esque. I was also not expecting the lights to be this bright, and as you can see, it's bright in my studio, and you can still see all of the lights perfectly fine. The build process itself, like I said, it wasn't like really, really hard. There was only a few points where it got confusing to me, but it is an advanced build. I would definitely say this is an advanced build. I just sat down and built it for like, probably took me 2.5 to 3 hours just building straight. But this is easily the kind of thing you could enjoy building over an entire weekend. And then, you have a great display piece. So I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Oh yeah, I forgot to point out the controller has studs on the top and on the bottom, so you can, like, if you wanted to, build a little stand for it or build it into, I don't know, if you wanted to build your own like cliffs or something, you could hide it in there. So there's that. Also, you could power this by plugging into your computer, I'm pretty sure, because this is a USB cord. So basically any power source that's USB, you could probably use that. So yeah, I highly recommend you guys give this a try. Even if it's just you want a parts pack, because there are some nice pieces here. And also Funwhole has a set where it's like a big cabin with lights, which I feel like that color scheme would be really helpful for a lot of mocks. And particularly with Mega Constructs, when you're building large dioramas, it's really hard to get a lot of good building pieces from Mega just because of how expensive it can be. So this is also a good way to like boost your collection of Mega parts, because I feel like it would fit pretty well with Mega. So yeah, very, very cool. I'm a lot more impressed with this than I was expecting to be. You can find this on Amazon. So I'll put the link to the Amazon listing and also to Funwhole's website. On their website, you'll also find various lighting kits that they have for official Lego sets, because that's what they've done in the past. I don't know how many they have in stock or whatever. You'll just have to go and look. But yeah, this will be on there. I believe this is their newest set. And personally, I'm really looking forward to seeing what else they come up with, because so far they are showing a lot of promise. And it's not feeling like just a straight up bootleg, because I don't know if I would have necessarily been okay with reviewing this if this was just a straight up bootleg of something Lego or something Mega Constructs, because that's just basically stealing. But this is it's different. It feels very different. It feels like it's finding its own little niche in the brick building world. The idea of packaging an entire lighting kit with a set is a really cool one. So, highly recommend you guys check it out. Go ahead, grab one, build it, and if you guys get one, I would love to know what you guys think. Because again, I feel like this has a lot of potential. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.